Hey folks, welcome to Tech News Nightly. Got some great stories for you today. Got one about a robot being taxed, and one about new air traffic control technology. And in honor of President's Day, we're going to talk about the President's website. Of course, there are more, and we will hit those in and around the three I just mentioned. Now, of course, as always, I want to mention the Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference, or MAPCon. Tickets are still available at 50% off, and they will be until the end of this month. Now, some of the things your ticket will get you is there's a Friday night mixer, free headshots, an event t-shirt, an after-party invitation, and much, much more. All of this will be taking place on the weekend of September 8th and 9th at the Holiday Inn Philadelphia South in Swedesboro, New Jersey. All you got to do to get your tickets is go to technewsnightly.com and click on the MAPCon logo. That's all you got to do. Go over to my website, click on the MAPCon logo, and you can get those tickets still at 50% off before the end of the month. Now, I'll be there, so if you do go, if you get your tickets and you go, look for me, we'll chat it up. I always like meeting listeners and talking to other podcasters. So I want to say thank you for listening to the show. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to Tech News Nightly, because it really means a lot to me, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Now, we're going to go a little long on the show today or tonight, so let's go ahead and get to the news. Now, I'm not sure if you saw this or not, but Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, that Bill Gates, said that he feels robots that replace human workers should be taxed, or they should have to pay taxes like humans do. He is quoted as saying, right now, the human worker does, say, $50,000 worth of work in a factory. That income is taxed. He says if a robot comes in to do the same thing, you'd think that we'd tax the robot at a similar level. Now, obviously, the robot itself would not pay the taxes. The owner would. Gates argues that the taxes would be used to help fund labor force retraining, and basically the former human employees would be transitioned to health services or education or other fields where human workers will remain vital. Gates goes on to suggest that the policy would intentionally slow down the speed of that adoption somewhat, which would give more time to manage the broader transition. Now, you can find more on the story over at venturebeat.com. Just look for Bill Gates says robots should be taxed like workers. Okay, here's the thing, folks. The idea has some weight to it, but in the long run, I feel that it would be hard to transition overall. I don't know if the working public is really ready to be replaced by robots, to be honest, mainly because the feeling of getting their job taken away. You know, the people will blame the company and strike out or boycott even. And these same workers also may be hard to retrain. Now, why? It's not because they can't be retrained. It's because they won't be retrained. You take a person that's been in a job for around 15 to 20 years, you take that job away and replace them with a robot, they're going to be somewhat disenfranchised with the whole system. They're not going to care that you're going to retrain them. You have to understand, change, any type of life event or change is traumatic to a person, especially if you take their work away from them. You're taking something that they're used to doing 5 to 6 days a week, and you take that away from them, they're not going to respond well. I promise you that. They'll refuse to be retrained, and therefore the human workforce will diminish more than it already has. But really, who am I to argue with Bill Gates? I mean, he is the founder of Microsoft, and the only thing I've ever found has been the fact that you shouldn't trust a fart. And it's serious. I mean, you take it as you will, but that's what it boils down to. You know, sticking with Microsoft, it seems they have struck a deal with Flipkart. For those of you that don't know what Flipkart is the top online marketplace in India. And they have agreed to adopt Microsoft Azure as its exclusive cloud platform. Now, why would Flipkart do this? Why would they want to use Azure? Well, they're trying to fight off the aggressive push by Amazon in India. Now, both Microsoft and Flipkart are saying this is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. They're going to start with computing infrastructure and add a layer of advanced cloud technologies and analytics to Flipkart's existing data centers. This is a significant customer win for Microsoft in the public cloud battle against its cloud or Google Cloud Platform and many others out there. Find more on the story over at geekwire.com. Microsoft strikes exclusive cloud deal with Flipkart. Why is this important? Here's the thing. This is just another stop on the Azure Global Expansion checklist. Microsoft is making the Azure cloud platform generally available in 34 different regions around the world. Some of those regions are in China, Brazil, Australia. Hell, 13 of those regions are in Asia alone. And it's the bottom line. Microsoft is expanding the worldwide footprint of its data centers in order to compete with Amazon and Google and the other ones that are out there. We say Amazon and Google all the time because they're the Goliaths. They're the monsters, right? We don't really worry about the other ones, but Amazon and Google are their direct, DEERECT competition. Now, basically, they're trying to put storage and computing closer to developer and businesses and around the world. This will improve performance and reliability and all that rot. Not to mention, it helps both the customers and Microsoft be in compliance with domestic storage laws. You know, that's always a problem. Anytime that you go into another country or another region, you have to abide by their local laws for data storage. So this helps them, both the customer and Microsoft, be in compliance. You know, the cloud race is getting more intense as all of the providers are starting to build out their infrastructure. And this expansion is a crucial part of supporting a multinational customers in their initiatives of digital transformation. Now, I said all those words to basically say the cloud is good for customers all over the world. Basically, that's what it boils down to. It was a lot of words just to say that one last sentence. When I was first writing these show notes, you know, I kind of script my show to a certain extent. So I'm basically reading my script as I'm going along. And when I first was going to write this, I was going to say it like cloud good for people, you know, but I thought that might be a little offensive to somebody that speaks that way. I don't know who does, but I just decided to back off of it a little bit. But seriously, I wrote a lot of words to just say, hey, it's good for everybody. Let's go with it. So with, you know, it looks like Flipkart is actually trying to, you know, compete a little bit against Amazon in India. I don't blame them. I mean, that is their biggest competitor is Amazon. So we'll see how AWS does over there against the old Flipkart running on Azure. Now, with Microsoft expanding their cloud footprint, it looks like Amazon is promising to expand their employee footprint to the tune of 15,000 new full-time jobs in Europe. So yeah, Amazon said they plan to increase their European workforce by more than 30% this year. The company is seeking to highlight its positive economic impact amid several ongoing investigations in the EU. Now, Amazon is going to be filling positions ranging from seasoned engineers to entry-level jobs. With 100 offices, fulfillment centers, and Amazon Web Services data centers in Europe, Amazon is saying that many of the new positions would actually be in the new fulfillment centers opening in France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain, and the UK sometime later this year. Now, Amazon created, about 10,000, a little bit over 10,000 jobs in 2016, and now they're going to create more than 15,000 jobs in 2017. Now, they're looking to have a total of about 65,000 EU employees by the end of this year. Another note, and this is pretty important, Amazon's marketplace business fuels more than 175,000 jobs in Europe. 175,000 jobs in Europe. That doesn't mean that all of them are directly, employed by Amazon. It just means that Amazon's marketplace business actually fuels those jobs. Delivery, stuff like that. You can see more of this story over at VentureBeat.com. Amazon promises 15,000 new full-time jobs in Europe. Now, I'm sure that some of you may be sitting out there saying, whoa, that's great. But what about the U.S.? Well, if you didn't see it, Amazon announced last month that they would increase their U.S. workforce by 55% over the next 18 months to the tune of about 280,000 employees. Now, I'm not saying they're adding 280,000 employees. I'm saying they're going to jump 55% up to 280,000 employees. So it's basically a global hiring bench for this Goliath. Crazy part of all this is that Amazon is actually under investigation in the EU for things like taxes and e-commerce competition and ebook distribution deals. Also, you have to take a look at the fact that there's a fear across Europe that American technology companies wield too much economic control over the continent's digital sphere. Yet Amazon, in a classic business move to help their public image in a region, says, we are going to invest in your people. Smooth move, Amazon. Smooth move. Hey, that's the way you do it, man. You want to up your PR in a region as a business, in a region that may have a little bit of a public uprising against you, invest in their people. That's all you got to do. Invest in their people. You offer their people jobs. You put money in the people's pockets. You give them a purpose. You show them that we're here for you, and it'll change their perspective on you in a heartbeat. And that's what Amazon is doing in Europe. That's what they're doing. It's a smart move. Smart move. So let's take a little bit of break here. Let's talk about podcasting. Let's talk about you in podcasting. Some of you out there may be wanting to start a podcast, and maybe you don't know where to start. Maybe you don't know what equipment to buy or how to upload a podcast to iTunes. Well, if you go over to technewsnightly.com and you click on the School of Podcasting banner, that'll take you over to Dave Jackson's website, theschoolofpodcasting.com. And you can sign up for his courses where he'll teach you from point A to point Z on how to become a successful podcaster. He'll teach you about equipment. He'll teach you about how to speak on a microphone. He'll teach you about cadence, etiquette. That's a way to pronounce it. Etiquette. He's going to teach you all the things to make you have a successful podcast when you graduate the schoolofpodcasting.com. Now, who is Dave Jackson? Dave Jackson, in my mind, is one of the kings of podcasting. He started back in 2005. He's been in the game for a long, long time. In a recent conversation I had with Dave, he said he would be podcasting until the day he dies. That's what he told me. He loves podcasting, and he knows a lot about podcasting. It's probably one of the smartest individuals on podcasting out there. He also is a great teacher. He's been teaching for years and years and years. He will help you massage your message. He'll help you put your message out to the masses and make it a good message and be successful at what you do. All you got to do is go to technewsnightly.com, click on the School of Podcasting banner, and that'll take you right over to his site to sign up for his courses. Now, little disclaimer. The disclaimer is that banner is an affiliate link. That means that when you click on it, okay, Dave, if you sign up for a course, Dave gives me a little kickback to help me keep the lights on around this studio. And what it does is it just drives, people to his site that want to learn how to podcast. And he says, hey, here, thanks for helping me out. It's not much, but it's enough for me to want to do it. And here's the thing. Even if it was an affiliate link, I would still send you to Dave. Dave Jackson is one of the nicest guys and one of the best podcasters out there. And if I didn't believe in him, I wouldn't promote him. That's the bottom line. There's one thing that I can tell you as my listener. I'll never promote anything I don't believe in. So there you go. Schoolofpodcasting.com. If you don't want to use my affiliate link, go talk to Dave, get hooked up, get signed up, and get your podcast going today. So let's switch gears here. Let's get away from Amazon and Microsoft and all that jazz. I want to take a look at NASA. You guys remember NASA? Remember they had a big program where they shot these shuttles up into the sky and they pretty much ain't around anymore? Well, NASA and the FAA are conducting trail flights to test their new air traffic control technology this week in Washington State. These tests are part of a $35 billion next-gen, that's billion with a B, $35 billion next-gen national aviation revamp. So by introducing modern planning software, digital communication, and GPS-based position reporting, the plan is to restructure everything from pre-flight to arrival by 2030. Now, that doesn't mean if you get on a plane today that you're not going to get there until 2030. I mean that the plan is to fix all this by 2030. The current air traffic control system talks pilots through the landing process while using radar data. NASA says the radar data is flawed and that voice communication causes delays, which requires more space between airplanes. The system they are wanting to introduce will speed up communications and sharpen tracking precision, not to mention save fuel and improve flight arrival times. Now, there's more on this story over at digitaltrends.com. You just have to look for the plane guiding tech for faster flights story. I guess, here's my thing on this. I guess that if it's faster and just as safe, if not safer, then there's a need. I mean, it seems like a lot of money to spend on something. I just don't know that much about air traffic control. But I do know that I can see where the human element may slow things down a tick. I truly do. On the flip side of that, during a crisis management, I wonder what the crisis management is going to be. Is there going to be a human on the other side of the radio, or is it going to be Bender from Futurama? For those Futurama fans out there. I mean, if I have a choice, I want a human there. But I can see where a digital brain could be faster and may have the answer quicker. But I wonder how good the ITTT would be. That's if this, then that. Would be if something pops up. What I mean by that is you can program any device that has an ITTT app or developer on it, that if this happens, then do this. If this happens, then this. Right? But there's no human element in there. And what I mean by that is the conscious part of it, where a human's going to look at it from a different perspective. The machine is going to look at it to save the plane. The machine is not looking at loss of life or anything like that. It sees loss of life as numbers, as percentages across a board. Whereas a human sitting there pushing 10, and that's what they call it when you're an air traffic controller and you're moving planes, you're pushing 10. There's still that human element that they see the human life. They see it as a human life. They don't see it as a number. So I wonder about there. Let me know what you think. Do you think it would be better to have a human on the other side of the radio in an air emergency, or to have a digital brain talking to you? Email your answer to ray@technewsnightly.com. And I'll look those over. I always enjoy hearing from you people. If you got something to say, please email me. Moving on. Okay, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard about the Snap Spectacles. The video recording sunglasses that allows you to snap what is going on around you without taking out your phone. Yeah? Huh? Well, apparently the spectacles are available online for about 130 smackers. That's right. Now, this is a move to prove to investors in Snap's upcoming IPO that the spectacles can earn money for its business. As many have thought, its glasses were just a brand stunt of sorts. Now, spectacles were made available on a limited basis back in November, and Snap says the feedback has been all positive. This response to the limited launch has led them to believe that they should make the glasses more readily available. Buyers should expect to wait 2 to 4 weeks for the spectacles to ship, and there is a limit of 6 pairs per household. Thanks, Snap. What if there's 7 kids here? Anyway, charging cases can be purchased for just under $50, and charging cords will cost you about $9.99. These are both available from Snap and will no longer be sold on Amazon. Now, I'm sure you saw the story of the melting charger case. Did you guys see that? I remember that. And I had a flashback to the great Samsung battery tragedy of 2016 when I saw that. But in general, users have been quite pleased. The glasses can record 10 to 30 seconds of video at a time. And the circular all orientation format gives Snapchat app something that Instagram really can't copy right now. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, they did it. They beat Instagram at one thing here. Now, you can find more on that story over at TechCrunch.com. Here's the thing. Snap doesn't need to make money from these spectacles. They really don't. They need to, if it causes more people to create and watch more snaps, that's all it needs to do. You just got to get them to the app. People to be honest, if you can get them there, they are more likely to use it. I mean, seriously, Snap, channel your inner Kevin Costner here. Remember, if you build it, they will come. As for the glasses, I think that Snap has done something that Google didn't. If you remember when the Google glasses came out, they were the butt of a joke. Everybody made fun of them. Well, Snap basically proved that face-worn technology could be cool. I think the biggest reason for this is that they didn't let developers and geeks have them in their hands before they sent it out to the general public. That's what Google did do, unfortunately, and they gave it to developers and all the geeks, and they made little modifications to it. And, and what could have been a really cool pair of glasses turned out to be the butt of many jokes, and basically had an awkward social stigma around them. So people really didn't like them. Snap is not, they beat that. Now, I've looked at pictures of the glasses. There are sunglasses. They're round, and they have little cameras up on the, up on the corners. And I could see where, younger people would like these. It's kind of cool. I wouldn't wear them. I'm 43 years old. I mean, I wear bifocals, so to take off my regular glasses, put on a pair of sunglasses, I get a little fuzzy, I just don't wear sunglasses that often. But I could see where there's a positive reaction to it. Now, despite the positive reaction, Snap has said that they're not making a whole lot of money off these spectacles. But that wasn't the point. I think Snap is doing it smart. They are channeling their inner Kevin Costner. They're just getting people to the app because that's where they're going to make their money. And that's the thing. You've got to show the investors of that upcoming IPO that, hey, we still have people coming here every day. Millions and millions of users coming here every day. So the release of these glasses is smart in two ways. You're going to make a little bit of money. And by the way, you're also getting people to go to the app to create and watch more snaps. So that's what the investor wants to see. Moving on from one social media platform to another, it seems that YouTube is killing the 30-second ads that you can't skip. You know what I'm talking about? Like that long-ass, dumbass commercial you got to watch. Well, as you may know, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I hate those 30-second ads. Google has confirmed plans to scrap these ads in 2018, which means I got to wait another year to get rid of the damn things. Jeez. Ads that run for 15 and 20 seconds will still be there, but you'll have the option to skip those. And there may be also a plan to use what's called a 6-second bumper ad. You won't be able to skip them, but it's only 6 seconds. This move obviously will not please advertisers, but Google realizes that it will make the YouTube experience much more enjoyable for its users. And to be honest, does it really matter what the advertisers think? I mean, think about how big YouTube is. They can pretty much do whatever they want, and the advertisers are just going to have to lump it and play ball. This is the way it is. You want your advertisement on there, you're going to do whatever YouTube tells you to do. You can find more on the story over at thecultofmac.com, which is, not one of my normals, but I'll tell you about that here in a few minutes. I literally hate the 30-second ad. I do. I don't know how many times I've actually dumped a video just because I couldn't get, I can't click out of that 30-second ad. But, and I think here's part of it. The 30-second ad is the TV, is the same as a TV commercial. It's based off that old TV commercial time limit, which means that this is the format that most advertising companies or companies are used to, right? So it's easy for them to just build commercials in 30-second intervals. If they get rid of the 30-second ads and go to the 6-second bumpers, it'll be more tolerable for the user, I think. And the advertiser might get more views if you think about it. I mean, it's a win-win. If you really think about this, it's a win-win. I don't have to endure 30 seconds of Buick, and the advertiser only has to make 20% of a commercial. I mean, do the math. It's a win-win, right? All right, folks, because it is President's Day, I had to bring this story to you. Now, I want to start by saying that I'm a registered independent, and before any of you fly off the handle out there, I truly don't care what your views are. I really don't. You can email them to me. I don't care. I'll probably respond. I'm not going to argue with you, though. Okay? I do not judge people by what political party they are a member of. I will not express any political opinion down your throat and ask that you not do the same for me. The only thing I will say is this, and I will say this. Folks, until we learn to sit at a table and talk to each other without resorting to name-calling, screaming, and violence, we have all lost. We have all lost. Because we cannot unify, we lose. That's the way it is. So, on with the story. Hacker News reported during the 2016 presidential election campaign, the mail servers operated by the Trump organization were very insecure. Well, guess what happened? That's right. Some hackers calling themselves pro_master with a 3 instead of an E managed to deface an official website associated with President Trump's campaign fundraising yesterday. Damn, the day before President's Day. It's just evil. It really is. It's his day. It's just, ain't going to have it. Anyway, the hacker claims to be from Iraq, and they reportedly defaced the server secure2.donaldjtrump.com. This server sits behind Cloudflare's content management system and security platform. Now, the certificate of the server is legitimate, and that was reported by arstechnica.com, but a reference to an image on another site is insecure, prompting a warning on Chrome and Firefox that the connection is not secure. Remember, we talked about Chrome now has their own root certificate. So if you don't have an SSL on your website, or any part of your website does not have a certificate, it's going to show you that it doesn't, and it's going to tell everybody else that it doesn't. So what did the hacker leave this time? Well, the page now displays a man in a fedora, and he's kind of standing there in the shadows and got the fedora pulled down over his head, and a message that says, hacked by ProMaster. Attacker gov nothing is impossible. Peace from Iraq. The server is offline. The Hacker News stating that there's no official statement from the Trump-Pence campaign team yet. You can see more on this over at the Hacker News and around the web. It's big news. Yeah. So there it is. President's campaign funding website gets hacked. So I wonder how long it's going to take for an accusation to be thrown out of country for this one. I mean, the guy did say he's from Iraq, but I don't really think Iraq is really set up to take on, shove out cyber warfare yet. Bottom line is this: President Trump is going to be on guard for his whole presidency, because it seems that the new thing now is to try to embarrass him or do something that's going to hurt his stint in the Oval Office. To be honest, if it were me, I think I would find more positive ways to help my causes than to be detrimental to any inhibitor of said cause. But that's just my 2 cents. I'm neither going to tell you if I'm a Trump supporter or not. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter to you. For some reason in this country, it does matter. For some reason in this country, we define each other by who we follow and who we agree with, instead of defining each other as human beings and who we are. All right, before I start crying, folks, that's all I have for you today. Don't forget to become a patron of Tech News Nightly by going to technewsnightly.com and clicking on the Become a Patron banner. All you have to do is pledge a little bit of money each month. Help me keep the lights on. Help me pay for hosting. Help me not put advertisements in the middle of the show. And I'll give you some sweet, quick rewards for them. Also, if you have any questions or comments for the show, please feel free to email me at ray@technewsnightly.com or go to technewsnightly.com. Fill out the contact me form. I will answer everything you send. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter. The next one will be released in 9 days. So you don't want to miss out. A lot of great stories in there. In fact, there's one on Dave Jackson coming up in this one. And that's going to be a great story. And Dave, if you're listening, I'll give you a pre-roll. It's not really a pre-roll. I'll give you a preview a couple days ahead of time, so you can make any changes that you want to. So make sure you sign up for that. Now, folks, I've been asking you every month to join the Facebook group. You can find it by going to facebook.com/group/technewsnightly. I do some of the group, some group-only exclusive stuff over there. And you can see some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get pictures of me writing show notes or pictures of the studio. Sometimes you do. But there's stories that I come across that I actually don't put in the show. And the reason being is because they don't make the cut. Guys, and let me, let's talk about this a little bit. Let's talk about the process. I use a thing called Morning Reader, I think is what it's called. It's on my phone. Let me look it up real quick. Basically it takes all the technology news and Morning Reader, and it wraps it up, right? And it puts it in a nice little bow. And what I do is I change it to this thing called the River. So it's just all the news for that day, all the top trending stories, whatever, for that day. So I take those stories, and then I take all those stories, and then I narrow them down to 10, and then I'll narrow them down to 5 or 6, whatever I decide to do that day. Well, sometimes there's still a great story sitting there, but there was 5 other real great ones that it just edged that story out. So I'll link that in the group for you to go look at. Also, sometimes I'll do an exclusive only video for the group or exclusive audio only for the group. Now, right now, the doors are wide open on the group, so anybody can come in there and see what's going on, mill around, talk to other people, whatever. They can see some of the exclusive stuff that I've put up in the past, but April 1st, okay, around the 1st of April, those doors are shutting back down. All right. So if you have friends that are interested and want to join this group, have them come over. It's free of charge. I mean, first of all, what's better than free? Delivery, I guess. The bottom line is all they have to do is come over and join the Facebook group. Now, after April 1st, you'll have to request to join. And it's not that it's that hard to request to join. It's just that this way, right now, you can just go in and meal around. After April 1st, you won't be able to see what's going on in there. So join the Facebook group. I think you'll like it. So it was a great show. I appreciate you being here. Folks, I love doing this show. Until Thursday or Friday this week, you're not going to get any video, no live video. I am redesigning my internet connection. And so as it stands right now, we're not doing any live video. We're going to do only podcast. So make sure that you are signed up. And if you're not hearing this, apparently you're not signed up, but I'll put out a Facebook post later on this evening. Folks, I appreciate you being here with me today. Until I talk to you tomorrow, be good and take care. Thank you.